This question is about how large a sample should be to have the margin of error as some value and some confidence level is given. Well, you first have to recall the formula for the margin of error. So margin of error. And by the way, this is about the mean value, estimate the mean. So you have to use the margin of error formula for the mean. There's a different one for margin of error for proportion. Okay, so please make sure that you know which formula to use. For the mean case, you have to use the critical value times sigma divided by square root of n. That's the formula for the margin of error. And we're given the sigma, that's 21. N is the thing that we want to find out. We want to find out how large this should be. Z alpha over 2 is not given, but 97% confidence is given, so you can calculate Z alpha over 2 from the 97% confidence. And E is also given. So you're given every value. E is 2 minutes, right? To estimate the mean time to within 2 minutes, that means your error cannot be more than 2 minutes. So E is your maximum error, which is 2. You're given all the values except for n. So you can just use this formula for solve for n. Now, you have two options. You can plug in all the numbers and then solve for n. But sometimes it's easier to solve it with just letters than numbers. It's in some way, actually, it's less confusing. So let's do that. Let's multiply both sides by square root of n. So you have square root of n times e equals to this z alpha over 2 times the sigma. Then your goal is to find the value of n, right? So you have to divide both sides by e so that the e on the left side will disappear, but you're going to divide by e. And then finally you want to solve for n, so you want to square both sides to get n equals to this thing squared. Okay, so that's the formula. And now let's try to figure out z alpha over 2, because the other ones we know. Now, before you get z alpha over 2, by the way, this alpha over 2 is not multiplied or anything. It's just, you can think of z as some function of alpha over 2. So you first have to figure out what alpha is, and there's a formula for getting the z alpha over 2. So let's try that. First, the definition is of alpha, called the alpha value or significance level. That's how it's called. And that's 1 minus the confidence level. And confidence is 0.97 for us. So our alpha is 0.03. And once you have that, then you're ready to calculate z alpha over 2. Because you have a formula for it. The formula is inverse norm of 1 minus alpha over 2. Okay? So you just put that into the calculator and you're done. So let's try. Go to the calculator. Let's clear everything. Okay, so you go to second vars, go to inverse norm, and you put 1 minus alpha value is 0.03, right? It's 0.03, so put 0.03 and then you divide it by 2. So that goes inside the area, and then you're executing this function. And you get 2.17. So that's your alpha value. And because we have everything else, now we can actually do the calculation. This is now equal to first, the z alpha over 2 is replaced by 2.17. Sigma is given to us, it's 21. So let's multiply. And then E is given to us as 2. And this has to be calculated with a calculator as well. So parenthesis 2.17 times 21 divided by 2. And then you have to square this. 519.15. And there's one last thing that you have to be careful. 519 equals 519.15. When you get this number, you always have to round up because you have to be at least this number, but you can't have like 0.15 people. That's impossible. So you have to have 520 people. So the answer will be 520.